what's up? This is TJ. Thanks for joining me. Today we're checking out the brand new features with the new firmware for the Arturia PolyBrute. It's 2.0 firmware. There's a ton of new great features with it and a ton of bug fixes. Want to get the full list? Check out Arturia.com for that. Today I'm just going to go over some of the great new features in no special order, and I'll show you how to use them. Let's get started. All right, so first up, brand new in the Arturia, there are 8 new EQ presets. Really great for fine-tuning the sound. Let's take a look at how that works. For the EQ settings, it's really easy to get to. All you need to do is hold down the settings buttons and touch the modulation here. And that'll change the screen. You get a bypass, a presence setting, a low boost, a high boost setting, a hi-fi loudness setting, so overall loudness with the EQ, a removal of mud from the bottom, a low cut, and a high cut. So some fine-tuning that is available at the very end of the signal chain within the PolyBrute. All right, now, also, there is a brand new effect, an assemble effect, inside of the PolyBrute, added to all the other great effects. It sounds awesome. Let's check it out. All right, let's check out the assemble effect. What you need to do to get to it is hit the type button. So it says Alt, and you have the alternatives to the chorus and the phaser parameters. And number 8 is assemble. Well, I already have that selected. Let's hear how that sounds with just a default patch. Really nice. All right, so Arturia added a whole bunch of visualizers to the screen for all the different parameters. Almost all, I should say. Almost all of them have visualizations to them. So when you change any of the knobs or the sliders, you'll see in the screen the visualizations of that and their exact amounts. Very fun. Arturia has really added a lot to the screen by using visualizers for the different knobs and sliders and so forth. So if I change the slider here, that is the release for the filter envelope. You can see that. Change the knob, say here, for the LFO, for the fade in, all the different amounts here. The modulation intensity, stereo, panning, of the different voices. All of these have now visualizers that are associated with them. And it's great because it also has the number right in here, so you can see exactly what the setting is in terms of its number value. All right, next, the great feature they added is Dualphonic aftertouch. So when you have it in split mode, you can have one side have its own aftertouch and another side have its own aftertouch as well. So it's not full polyphonic aftertouch, but it's pretty close. Next, let's take a look at how to get to the Dualphonic aftertouch setting. Again, we want to hit the settings. We want to hit number 3 for expressive control, 3 again for aftertouch settings. And then you'll see here, you have the choice of monophonic, which was there before, and now you have the new choice of dualphonic with number 2. Next, on the third LFO, they added the ability to invert the rise and the fall on the LFO. Before, it would only go in a positive direction. Now you have the ability for it to start in a negative direction. So you have a lot more possibilities of modulations with the third LFO. Great new feature now is with LFO 3, this is something that's been requested, is the ability to invert the rise of its curve. Before it would only go up first, now you can invert it so it'll go down first. Easy to get to. Just hit settings, go to voice, go to 3 for LFO, number 4 for curve, and now you have the choice here of where the rise is standard, that being it is in a positive direction, or rise is inverted, or it goes into a negative direction at its onset. A really great new feature now is the addition of analog accuracy. PolyBrute always had what they used to call pitch accuracy. Now they've changed the name to analog accuracy because they've added more features to it. Initially, the pitch accuracy would change the pitch of each individual note, vary it depending on the level that you had set, from either off to mild to wild to wide ranging pitch, depending on which one you would get. And that would give it a little bit more vintage feel because the old synths didn't really have, perfect pitch like the newer synths do. But they've added on to that. They've changed the name from pitch accuracy to analog accuracy so it can add a bunch of different features to that variance. That being things like the filter cutoff, the envelopes, the LFOs, the pulse width. All these things have been changed so that you can actually add to the amount of variance with that. Again, from either off to mild to wild, you can change that and it will affect it on each note that you play. Now let's talk about analog accuracy, what used to be known as pitch accuracy in the prior firmware. Let me show you that. We're going to get to it by hitting Settings. We're going to hit 1 for voice, 1 for VCO, and 4 for analog accuracy. And you'll see here there are 2 columns. Okay, the first column is regarding towards pitch, and that's the same as what it used to be before. It is either off or mild, 2 settings of mild, either linear or exponential or wild. And that would determine the variance of pitch per note that you would play, much like the older synthesizers where they didn't have exactly the perfect pitch each time. Now there's this others column over here, and that column is for other things. Obviously, those will affect either mild, medium, or wild. They will affect the pulse width, the cutoff, the resonance, the envelopes, and the LFO rates. So it gives you a lot of variance, per note for those, and can give you a much more wider, broader sound as you play. Very, very powerful feature here, and it really does sound great. All right, they added a very, very much requested feature. That is chord mode. Yes. They've added a chord mode to that, so you can just press one note and you can get a full chord. And it's very, very easy to program. All you need to do is hold the Polyphonic button and then play your chord that you want. All right, let's talk about setting up the chord mode. As I mentioned before, it is really easy to do. All you need to do is hold down the Polyphonic button here, hold it down, and play your chord that you want. Let go. Now you're in chord mode. All right, last but not least, the Arturia added one of the most requested features. I know it was the first feature that I requested, and a lot of other people have been looking for this. It's the ability for the Morphe and the ribbon to send and receive MIDI control change commands. Very great. Now you can actually use the ribbon and the Morphe to control all your other gear, and you can record it within your DAW. Well, that's it. That's all the main features that I have for you within the PolyBrute 2.0 firmware, just released by Arturia. I want to thank Arturia for putting all the work into the PolyBrute. They really have a strong commitment to this synthesizer, and hopefully they have more to come. There are also a lot of bug fixes. Can't go through all of them, but a lot of them are ones that you've been looking for. So take a look at the release notes on Arturia.com's website, and you can see all the things that you've been looking for on there. If you like the work that I'm doing here with this video, please do share it, subscribe to this channel. Your support is very much appreciated, and check out tjontheroad.com for more. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.